Are you recording? Okay.
Yep, I'm ready. I'm recording.
Okay. Hi, my name is Kalysta Humenik, and I go to the Butler Tech Bioscience Center, and I'm a senior in PLTW, and my project is on Alzheimer's disease. So before I get into it, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the terminology for Alzheimer's disease. So first thing I'm going to talk about is amyloid beta, and that is the leftover parts of the protein. When they are clumped up together, they become toxic to the neurons and can possibly lead to nerve cell death. APOE is amyloid protein E, and there's also 4 of those types of proteins. So there's E1, E2, E3, and E4, and those are the genes that increase the risk of having the disease. Microalgia is known as the janitor of the synapse, which cleans up unwanted material. And neurofibrillary tangles form when Taq proteins change shape and clump together in the synapse. And the tangle disrupts the transport system and are toxic to cells. Penicillin 1 is the exact gene where Alzheimer's occurs. The synapse is the region where nerve impulses are transferred between nerves. Taq is proteins that play a part in the nerve's internal support system and carry out nutrients in the disease. They tend to change shape and become toxic to the cells. A vector is an agent, a plasminovirus that contains modified genetic material used for extra genes to be inserted back into the organism's genome. So Alzheimer's disease is an irreversible brain disorder which destroys the brain, leaving no memory, thinking skills, or ability to perform basic functions. Alzheimer's was discovered by Dr. Alzheimer's, but they didn't really know what the disease was until they started doing autopsies of the brain and saw that people with Alzheimer's brains were smaller than normal people's brains. The disease is the 6th leading cause of death in America and suspected to become the 3rd possibly. Every 65 seconds, someone is diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And women are at increased risk for getting Alzheimer's. African Americans are double the risk, and Hispanics are 1.5. Nobody really knows why other people are at risk for the disease. It's just how it plays out. And the symptoms of the disease is memory loss, issues with problem solving, aggression, anger, depression, paranoia, disoriented, lack of appetite, and so much more. So what happens in Alzheimer's disease? In the synapse where the neurotransmitters are released between the neurons, a small peptide called amyloid beta is released. However, it's not fully exchanged between the 2 neurons and just stays there, and it results in buildup in plaque. And however, the microalgia, it usually cleans it out in the synapse. It does not work properly. So over 15 to 20 years of this constant buildup and microalgia not working properly, there's a molecular cascade that goes on, which results in a bunch of symptoms and basically just the disease going downhill from there. For more on what the disease actually looks like, the 2.5 of the Cincinnati population, everyone would have it in the world. 5 million Americans will have it, and 30 million people worldwide. So gene therapy is an experimental technique that uses genes to prevent or treat a disease by inserting an altered gene into the patient's cells, which allows doctors to treat genetic diseases with drugs. Gene therapies can be rather expensive, a multi-million-dollar price tag. However, it is insurance does not cover. And then in order to perform gene therapy, vectors are used to introduce new modified genetic material in the genome for original organisms. So it was discovered in a Colombian trial that there was this family who had a long chain of gaining Alzheimer's disease, and they looked back into their medical records and also looked back in to see their DNA, and they all had this APOE3 gene that led them to have the disease. And however, there was this one girl in the family who had the gene, but she was supposed to have it, but at the age of 50, she was in perfect brain condition. She had no symptoms of the disease, and she did not have it. This led many scientists at a stump to what actually had happened here. Well, what had actually happened is that this girl had 2 of the APOE3 genes, which caused her to not gain the disease. And so the exact gene where Alzheimer's occurs is the penicillin 1 gene, which causes the sugars to form. And she actually had a mutation there, which caused her to not have any symptoms or have plaque buildup. So the innovation that I'm talking about is with the prior knowledge of gene therapy, applying it to Alzheimer's disease with the new discovery of the APOE gene. And so we can mutate the patient's genes and cure Alzheimer's that way, or help prevent them from possibly getting it. And the professionals that will be used in this case are neurologists and Alzheimer's professionals, biomedical engineers, biochemists, oncologists, neurosciences, gene therapies, and the medical team, and so much more. And however, this innovation could be trial and error and takes a very long time with ethical issues to get it working. I believe that it has a possibility of helping to cure Alzheimer's. And so why is this so important to me personally is that I have had someone in my family who has been very close to Alzheimer's. Like my grandpa, his mom had it. So it was very close to his heart. So that makes it very close to my heart as well. Along with the fact that if we don't cure this age in our day and age, that we will be suffering from the disease in our old age. And I believe that if we don't cure it soon, we will have the opportunity to be suffering from the disease. And how does this affect everyone and their culture? It affects everyone because about half of the people that are listening to this video right now have the opportunity to have the disease as well. It's almost certain. And the emotional impacts on it involve just everyone. Everyone has almost experienced this disease. I know someone who has helped me with this project who has had someone in their family that has suffered from the disease, and it really affects the community and the Alzheimer's Association.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Mink. I am, turn your volume down, Kalysta, if you would. I am the advisor for this project. And Kalysta, if you would take a moment and tell us about how and why you got interested in this project and what the purpose, why you're doing this project.
All right, so why I am doing this project is actually a project for HOSA that I started last year, I believe. I was in medical innovation, so a part of the project was to bring something into the medical field that could possibly help cure, treat an illness or disease or just anything equipment-wise. So I've been very passionate about Alzheimer's disease because I want to be in the future a neurologist or a neurosurgeon. So I thought it would be a great idea to bring a brain disorder and help treat it, help cure it, and make pain go away.
So thank you. And also, how did your work on this project change over the course of doing it? Because you've been working on this project for a little while. So what challenges did you face and have to overcome while you were working on it?
So the challenges and the things that I faced over the past almost year and a half with this project was, where do I actually start? So I had a pretty big base of knowledge on Alzheimer's disease itself. So it was more of getting all the terminology down, what everything means, what everything connects with, and then taking it forward, like, where can I go for this? So my teacher, actually, Miss Mink, had us do a couple of activities on gene therapy. So I used many of the resources from her class that taught me a base on gene therapy, and then it just took from researching about Alzheimer's, researching about clinical trials, and just going from there, and then actually putting the work in to make a poster and then make a model, and just practicing presenting and getting better at it.
Were you able to compete this spring in HOSA?
I was able to compete in locals and regionals in my junior year for HOSA, and I was supposed to go on to states. However, due to COVID-19, I was unable to go to states, and that really affected me personally because I have been to the states my sophomore year, and it was a lot of fun. I was really looking forward to it because I adopted this project as my own. I worked so hard on it, and it just all got canceled. Originally, it was supposed to be online, and I started working on it. And then with my HOSA advisor, she let me know that unfortunately online states was also canceled, which almost honestly broke my heart.
And so are you going to be able to use this project for this year's competition?
Yes, I am going to do medical innovation again, and I'm going to continue my project on through regionals, states, and hopefully nationals if I end up getting there with my project, and hopefully that COVID-19 doesn't affect anything like it did last year.
Okay. How is your participation in HOSA? Like, how is it meaningful to you? Why are you so passionate about it?
The reason why I'm actually so passionate about it is because I want to go into the medical field in the future, and it's just like one step closer to me being in the environment that you're learning about medicine rather than just going through high school, just knowing all the Common Core classes versus being someone who's so passionate about medicine and actually getting to jump into it. And also I am very passionate because when I did go to States my sophomore year, I got to see amazing presentations about medicine, and I just wanted to get there the next year too, to be able to experience it all over again.
All right. Well, it looks like we are drawing to a close. I don't see any other questions that are up. So do any of our other participants have any questions they'd like to ask or anything they'd like to say? It doesn't sound like it. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Kalysta. And I guess we're done. What else to do? End meeting. Okay, this was, are you done? Let's see here. It shows that you're still in. Oh, now it shows just Jay. I thought I left the meeting. Why is it still open?
Danielle, we done?
Well, I didn't show my PowerPoint.
Danielle.
Well, and I was watching YouTube, right? And like, this is literally what it did the whole time. So Dr. Cook was like, we might have to redo this.
Okay, that's fine because like I started rambling because I was like,